Hello everybody, this is Havoc. Welcome to another Medieval Kingdoms 12 AD. This is a Total War Attila mod, and today we are playing an epic, horrifyingly failure of a siege. There are two things that I want to start off with. One, I suck at sieges, and as an attacker especially. And two, I really suck at PvP. I know I haven't played a whole lot of player versus player. I usually obviously do AI, so there's still a lot of things that I have to learn, and believe me, I learned a lot. So we're going to jump right into it. This was a custom battle between, we had myself, I played as the second Bulgarian Tsardom, Indy Pride, also known as Milk and Cookies Total War. He's playing as the, I think the Duchy of Lithuania. I think that's what it's called. Let me look just real quick. I think it's the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. It's something super special. Yeah, the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. And so we are in this scenario playing against Rambler. Alex the Rambler himself, he's playing as the Kingdom of Sweden, and we also have Overkill Total War, also as the Kingdom of Sweden. This is a Stockholm type of siege. We are doing like a theoretical battle. This is actually the city of Londinium, but obviously they don't have Stockholm as a city. So, that being said, there are many things that I regret doing. I'm in halftime mode, by the way. So I'm going to walk through some things and explain my failures and how I learned with this city assault. For one thing, I don't have any onagers. I didn't think I would, but I wasn't really thinking when I did this assault, because in Attila, which is something that I absolutely hate, I'll actually hit play. In Attila, something that I really hate is that you have to be on the ground in order to capture a tower. You can't be on the walls to capture a tower, which is like in every other Total War game, I think. So that was my first big mistake. Now, in order to replay, what we had to do is we essentially had to hit start right away. We couldn't do our forces, we couldn't move them anywhere. That's kind of a bug in Total War Attila itself. So, what we have here is essentially Total War or Overkill and Rambler setting up their troops after we have already hit start. Now, Indy Pride had already started shooting, and as you can see, he's breaking through the walls right there. But that's no big deal. We weren't going to punch through right away anyways. So then, obviously, I start moving in as well. And, yeah, I mean, this battle was really bad. It was really bad. Because what Overkill ends up doing is, since the only way I can come through, essentially, I use my battering ram, which, as I found out, is another piece of epic failure that I was really disappointed with, especially because these gates now have boiling oil, regardless, as you'll find out in the future, regardless of whether you own or not, they will keep dumping oil on your own troops. So there's a couple of bugs in here. There's a couple of bugs that we kind of discovered, including some units that apparently don't ever take damage. But it's all good, and it's nice to see what everyone else does. I will give absolute credit to Indy Pride. He did amazing comparatively. I just feel bad that he was on my team, because I really did suck it up. But don't let this be an indication of how I usually play. I would like to think I'm decently good. I'm certainly by far not the best at all. And when you're playing against the best Total War player in the world, Mr. Rambler, it's a given that you're not going to do too well. But let's go ahead, and while everyone's setting up, let's run through what we all have. Manning most of my siege towers, I have some Bulgarian hooked pikemen. They are some pretty elite pikemen, and they do a lot of damage. I have some Bulgarian swordsmen. They are manning my battering rams and some siege towers, and I think over here So the unit of hooked pikemen, yes. In the back in my reserves, I have some Bulgarian archers. We have more Bulgarian spearmen, as well as another unit of hooked pikemen. Bolyars for my general, and I think I kept it to Bulgarian cav all the way across the board. Indy Pride over here is the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. He's already got guys coming down too. He's got some armored infantry all on his siege towers, and he is already capturing that gate. Look at that dude go. He's got some axemen.
We have destroyed their defenses.
We've got some more armored infantry. He's got some armored cav. He's got armored spearmen. And looks like we got some more axemen. They do look really sweet. I love how all the units look in this game. And he's going to go ahead and push through. In hindsight, what I should have done is seen that he had the advantage, and I should have just moved all of my troops over here and pushed in. I feel if I pushed in through here with him, we would have had it in a handbasket. So my towers finally reach, but as he's got... I'm sorry if I get frustrated because I feel like a complete idiot when I watch the replay. Overkill over here, he has mercenary men-at-arms, which are some pretty heavy-duty medium polearm infantry. They do a lot of damage. Herdmen, they are very hard to break, and they're very hard to fight against. So I hit this, and I realize, oh crap, I can't just take walls. I have to get down. So what do my units do? Rather than going down in over here, they start trying to come down through the walls, or through the gatehouse. And as you can see, I break through that, obviously. And I wait to see if we can take it before I try moving down. See, look, they're going to go ahead and move down, and they are going to get ripped to shreds. So that's one thing I don't know if the dev Warman can fix, but if there's a way where we can capture towers on the walls like the olden days, that would be absolutely fantastic, because you can see I'm just getting ripped. I'm getting absolutely destroyed. So I bring in my other hooked pikemen to come and take out his archers, and that's probably the best thing I do. And it looks like, who is this? See, it's hard to see because they're all Swedes. I don't know who this is, but he's moving some cav around, do a little sneak attack coming out of that gatehouse. Indy Pride's coming up here with his armored spearmen and armored infantry to try and face against these Atgir herdmen. Also, what we had to do, which we had some slight disagreements about in the future, the Kingdom of Sweden doesn't have super late tier troops. Right now, that unit roster has not been fully fleshed out. So, both Indy Pride and I were limited to tier 1 infantry, or tier 1 troops, basically. Which, as you'll see, the reason why we had that little disagreement was because Huskarls, they are kind of the most elite of the Swedes, but they're tier 3. They're tier 3 heavy melee, and it was hard to break them, as we'll see in the future. It was very hard to break them. Even though they have no shields, I guess they have those little shields. Hold on. Excuse me. Even though they had those shields, we'll charge them in the future and it won't do anything. So I'm stuck over here, and I'm getting absolutely wrecked, so I decided to move my cav in over to where Indy Pride has breached some holes. And as you can see right here, all Overkill is doing is he's just sticking his mercenary men-at-arms down at this tower. Now again, hindsight, I could have moved over here, swept in my armies over there with my pole arms. I couldn't have gone all the way over here. So right now, Indy Pride's doing a really good job, and like I said, I'm just failing. And then again, there's all of that oil that will come down. Regardless of whether I own it, I'll gain ownership of this fort tower in the future, and it still drops boiling oil on me. It's really, really dumb. So I'm actually gonna super fast forward. Just gonna go a little bit faster, see how things develop. So I decide that it's probably not a bad idea. I just hang out over here for a little bit because I'm not quite sure how I'm going to approach this. I'm still hesitant to move all my troops over here. Yep. And so as it sits right now, we weren't really neck and neck. We had lost 1,000 more troops than they did. And most of my troops were routing, so I brought my archers back around too. I greet my general. And right here, I go out, I decide, hey, I see the advantage. I'm going to push these archers and these Swedish knights out. Unfortunately, what I try to do then is I go after these guys, but I see that, hey, they have mercenary men-at-arms here. They have mercenary Adgear herdmen over here. I'm kind of stuck. Overkill has done a very, very good job of plugging up the routes within the city. And again, there's lots of things you could say in hindsight, but both Overkill and Rambler did an absolutely fantastic job of plugging up the routes and doing everything right, essentially, and I did absolutely everything wrong. Let's see, so we're going to fast forward a little bit because there's really not a whole lot going on here. I'm torn between pushing my men in through here or pushing my men through here. Again, I try to take this again, but even with his one unit of herdmen staying here, even though they're medium melee, they just absolutely do an insane amount of damage. Now, here's another thing. I try to get him to go up here into this tower. That doesn't work. They end up going through the city gate, which, as I found out, is sort of a bug as well. That's what they want to do, regardless of what you tell them to. They will automatically go through. Now, here's what I was talking about. He starts bringing his mercenary men-at-arms and his herdmen all the way up here, plugging those routes. I can't do anything but come over here. So I think that's what I will end up doing. I don't mean to hit the attack button on this guy, but it's what happens. And I could have probably pushed through here and snuck through, but I was also at this time worrying about trying to push this dude through and losing more units due to the boiling oil over there on the gate. So Indy Pride kind of walked me through some things, kind of gave me some hints and pointers on what we were trying to do, and he's like, hey, the only way we're going to get through this is if we push in through here. And this is where another little bug has come through. These guys, again, they're tier 3, so that was probably a good reason why we couldn't do anything to them. But at the same time, a repeated horse cav charge should do the job regardless. So as we missed it over here, but I had actually taken the gate, and I was still seeing boiling oil poured on me. So that really kind of pissed me off, because it's like, you know what? I have ownership of this. There should be no reason why there's still oil being poured. So, with what little troops remain, I come in over here, and I'm going to push the rest of my infantry into here. Indy Pride's doing a really good job of holding this line, and really actually kind of breaking them. And then it's over here that we see, no matter what we charge, there is no remedy. Nothing really helps. I'm going to bring in my units here in a second, as soon as I cap this tower.
The enemy tower is no more than wreckage now.
And so he's going to charge again. Whoa. But as you're going to see, it's not going to do anything. They get pushed back maybe a little bit, but they don't even really lose anyone. They maybe lose a couple of guys. See, look, they're not losing anyone. And these armored cav. So see, I charge in with my troops, and nothing. I mean, no one's dying. What's going on? Oh, that's probably just a unit over there that broke off long ago. So yeah, you know, he loses 10 right there. He loses 10 of them. I lose a bit, and he has lost 1. So that was kind of a balancing issue. You know, we're going to submit that obviously to the devs and see what they can't do about it. Now I'm bringing my finally bringing my whole army up here. Overkill has taken on Indy Pride's General Grand Duke. And I think Indy Pride will actually end up losing his general pretty soon. I gotta come down. Where did it go? There it is. I want to get some epic looking little screenshots, little grabs. So yeah, we decide, you know what, like really, we're charging repeatedly into this dude, and I mean we are getting wrecked, and he's lost 8. It's just it was a little iffy. So I actually bring my general in to help him over here with the Swedish Knights. And as you can see, Indy Pride's really just got it knocked down. He's got it really well laid out. He's holding them all across the board. Rambler's actually getting a little nervous because his troops are routing everywhere. Finally bringing my infantry in. Finally. So we're taking out the Swedish Knights. I see the advantage as soon as I can with over here is that I have a route over here to deal with. But we had to cap this pretty quick because we were getting pretty tore up. And then, I mean, we just got absolutely devastated. And this guy didn't do anything. Like, it didn't do anything to him. So that was a big bummer. I brought this guy in. Now I have my spearmen coming in, etc., etc. And I'm really starting to push. What I'm actually going to end up doing is I'm going to drop my archers into here. And eventually I'll put them up on the wall to get the advantage. Trying to snipe their general. It's not going to end up too well. Like I said, guys, I promise I'm not this absolutely horrible of a failure at this game. I'm decent. There's still a lot of things I have to learn, especially with PvP and in multiplayer battles, but I just did a couple of... All it takes is a couple of wrong things, and it can ruin your whole game. So, Indy Pride is still holding the line, still doing epic work. Oh man, they got stuff thrown at them. That's rude. The Kingdom of Sweden, they're pretty good. They're definitely a good faction. I liked playing as the second Bulgarian Tsardom. That's why I kept them for this battle. And then Indy Pride, I think he was just trying to pick someone decently new that he could play. So what Rambler agrees to is he's like, hey, you know what? I think I'll come down and let you guys attack me and see how that works, because he did have a terrain advantage, but I think that terrain made him near invincible. So as you can see, once Rambler gets his Huskarls down, they do end up being like a normal unit and getting killed off rather easily. Bring it back for a full charge. Archers galore. They had so many archer units as well. It was absolutely insane. Ooh, getting sniped by those towers. So yeah, we'll do a charge here. And yeah, they were just... They finally were really starting to get hurt. Unfortunately, it was a little too late in the game. Yep, and that's when our ally, that's when Indy Pride's general started to get really wrecked. So all of his units start fleeing, so it's essentially up to me now. I know, that's very, very scary. But yeah, most of his units started routing, so that's when I brought my archer tower, or my archers in, to see if I couldn't start sniping off the general. I see these Swedish Knights. I'm trying to capture this point for morale reasons, hoping that it'll help our troops keep fighting without, you know, routing, obviously. So I bring in my polearm infantry, or my polearm, excuse me, my Bulgarian swordsman and my my spearmen, because these guys take a while to come around. So I get him going, and I get them pushed up into the middle. These guys are pretty sweet. I mean, they look pretty sweet, just in general. Hooked. So my units start routing. I actually think these are the rest of Indy Prides that route. Oh, never mind. So I actually do a pretty good job, I think, of holding that line. Yeah. We end up holding this line for a while, and I actually think I get the advantage here, and I bring in my general. Yep, that's what I'm doing right now. Unfortunately, they just had a ton of archers. I push into here to try to take out some longbow deer. Were their generals not right there, I think we probably could have actually done a lot of damage and taken out all of their archers. So I do a charge, and I pull out because I see how many units are firing down at us. And then this is when Indy Pride does his slightly suicidal charge towards Herdman. I join him just to support, and I think we end up routing that group. We'll end up routing these guys as well. My archers over here doing some pretty good damage with their heavy shots to really affect Rambler's infantry. I just end up mowing them down. And unfortunately, my plan was to hit these guys in the back and keep hitting them in the back until they routed, but Rambler and Overkill decided they had a good enough advantage that they could use their generals and bring in the rest of their units on this front and not have to worry about us being able to hit them from behind. So right now it's essentially a losing battle. Indy Pride is still a little bit in the mix. He's about to completely rout, though, as you can see there. So it'll be up to me, which is very unfortunate for him. But he ends up bringing both of his generals in, Rambler and Overkill will. What they're gonna do is they're gonna come around, and I can see them. They're trying to be sneaky, but it's not gonna work because I'll see them come around. And actually, on this front, I feel I'm doing confident enough that I don't want to get hit in the back. And so I'm not going to get hit in the back. I'll actually pull my polearm infantry and draw a line, which will kind of freak them out. The commentary on this battle was decently golden. It's a shame we didn't really decide to do live commentary, but it was probably for the best. There was some choice words to be had, for sure, but we all ended up having fun. Like, even though this really stressed me out, I did end up having a lot of fun playing. It's fun to play against actual people, especially when people who are enjoyable to play with, as Overkill, Rambler, and Indy Pride. Let's go ahead and do another. Wait for a little stab. There's a lot of blood going on here, guys. A lot of blood being shed. Nice. Nope, didn't mean to do that. Yep. So this is when I see them pull their general. They were literally about to charge until I laid down my polearm, and I do start pursuing them to really kind of push them back, but it's not going to do a whole lot of good in the long run. So, again, Indy Pride with his Grand Duke went in and kind of ruined the herdsman's plan. We are shooting into this group with the rest of my archers with what I can. So again, I'm going to keep pursuing them. We're going to kind of double speed everything here since we're down in the last couple of minutes of the battle. Yep. So I start breaking. And then Indy Pride gets wrecked. Overkill and Rambler decide that they can bring everyone in, including those Huskarls, to take out the rest of my archers. I decide, guys, it's a useless venture. I'm just going to charge into these Huskarls. And then Overkill is going to bring in, I think this actually may be Rambler. They're going to bring in troops, and they're going to come in and rout me and my general. We're going to super fast forward time just to the end of the battle. So my men, I mean, we didn't do too bad, and we lost epically. I mean, they ended up having almost 1,500. Yep, so we lost there. We're going to take a look at the stats, though. I mean, overall, we didn't do... I mean, we did awful. We did, and all of our units died. What really stood out for me was how well my Bulgarian archers did. They did most of the work, as well as my general. The reason why a lot of these... I mean, you see a guy has 10, he has 3, he has 0 kills. This guy got no kills. It's because of how the gates work and the towers, and I did that epic fail of a thing. Whereas Indy Pride over here, he's really the hero of this battle. No matter they won, this guy did work. I mean, he did some major work. All these guys did... I mean, this guy did only 14 kills, but still, not too bad. I want to play as the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. I don't know if I have yet or not. I don't think I have. Just to see how well they do. And then over here in the Kingdom of Sweden, we had a Rambler. The troops that really stood out for him was his Axbodir and his Huskarls. Again, we had a little bit of a debate with that post-battle, but no worries. We'll play again, and I'll beat him. Just kidding. So Overkill, he had his Herdmen, did a lot of work. His mercenary men-at-arms, they were the ones who held the gates. They really did a lot of the work. And he had, of course, Herdmen. He had a couple units of Huskarls. His crossbowmen did some work as well. And then you have his Swedish Knights, which obviously routed a whole bunch of our units. So overall, absolute complete failure. But I learned a lot of stuff. As I said, I'm not too great with PvP. It is something I need to get better at. And I'm glad that all 3 of these guys, who all have much bigger channels, were more than willing to let me tag along and play with them. So, that is the end of this overview. I've never done a post-commentary battle walkthrough before. So if I did awful, you guys have to pardon me. I will be doing more in the future, and I may just even try that out. I just love live commentary. It's in the moment, it's more reactionary, and it's fresh on your mind because it's happening right there. Again, thank you, Rambler, thank you, Overkill, and thank you, Indy Pride, for letting me play. I hope to do more battles in the future with you guys, and I promise I won't mess it up quite as bad. So that is the end of this, as I said, so I hope you enjoyed it. Enjoyed watching everyone. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. All 3 of these other guys will be in the description link in terms of reference, so you can go follow them as well. They are all great channels. I enjoy watching all of their videos. So be on the lookout for more 1212 AD action. There is more to come, and there is more PvP, and believe me when I tell you this, I win this next one. But it may not come out until next week, maybe later this week, which would be Friday or Saturday. So yeah, that is everything that I have. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. I do appreciate your guys' support, and leave any suggestions or comments on how I can better improve myself and my tactics. This is Havoc, and I am out of here. Peace!